Welcome to the Butler Beat. I'm your host for today, Bree Seaver. Butler University has been quite the place to be the past 2 years. With all of the success and newfound fame of Butler thanks to the men's basketball team, the university is being exposed across the country on a whole new scale. Once regarded as a hidden gem, Butler is turning into the #1 choice for high school students across the country. With all of this interest sparked in the university and application numbers skyrocketing last year, what does this mean for Butler and for the future of its enrollment? I'm here today with Vice President of Enrollment, Tom Weed, who's going to talk about what has been going on within the admissions office this past year and what to expect in the future. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
So from my understanding, there was an increase of 40% in applications last year to the university. How did this affect the overall admissions process? Did that cause you guys to be more selective in regards to who you let into certain academic programs?
It caused a lot of issues for us because, first of all, we had about 3,000 more applications. We read each application at least twice. So without any increase in staff, we had to do an awful lot of reading just to get through them to be able to make the decisions. The other part that went along with it was not only was there an increase in the number of applications, the quality of the applications was better. And when you go even further, when you ask me about admission, I'm going to tell you, okay, so sorry about that. The other part was, one of the things we look at is how interested is a student, okay? So not only were the applications up and the quality up, but the number of students that were visiting us, which is our primary way of knowing if they're interested, was also up nearly 40%.
Wow. So even though the numbers were all up, the class right now, the current freshman class, has a total enrollment of 927, which is the smallest class Butler has seen since 2005. So can you explain a little bit the factors that contributed to the small size? Because I don't think a lot of viewers understand. I think, weren't you guys trying to protect the academic integrity of some of the academic programs that are limiting the number?
There are really a bunch of issues that go into it. So first of all, like I said, the quality of the applications was up. So we knew one of the first things that we do when we're trying to decide how many people we're going to admit is we look at, okay, what percentage of the people who have applied in the past have ended up enrolling? Now, we know that percentage, which we call the yield, has been going down over recent years as more and more students use electronic applications to apply to college. Students are applying to 10 or 12 colleges now instead of 3 or 4. So we've seen lots of schools have seen applications go up. Nothing like we saw last year, but they've seen them go up. So we track pretty carefully what percentage of those people that we admit end up enrolling. We thought that we knew that after the championship game with Duke, that our yield went up 2 percentage points, which is unheard of. And that's why we ended up with a class of about 1,050. We anticipated the yield would go down a little bit. And in fact, when you get a class that's made up of really top flight applicants, they have many choices. It may be Notre Dame or Northwestern or Harvard. They just have many choices. And while we were certainly one of their choices, they have so many options, and that a smaller percentage of those students ended up choosing Butler.
Well, although it is a smaller class, I really feel like it has benefited the university simply because the academic profile is absolutely exceptional.
I couldn't agree more, and one of the really nice things that we're getting feedback on from the faculty is this group is just a great group, not just academically, but they're Butler students.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all of your insight. Before we break for a brief commercial, Krista Miller is here to give us the details on what's happening in the Jordan College of Fine Arts this coming week.
There are 2 events taking place next weekend with the Jordan College of Fine Arts. On Saturday, the 8th of October, Clues Hall is presenting Esperanza Spalding. The jazz bassist and singer will play at 8 p.m. Butler students will receive a $5 discount on tickets. Tickets can be purchased at clueshall.org. On Sunday, the Jordan College of Fine Arts presents the Butler Symphony Orchestra. This concert will take place at 3 p.m. at Clues Memorial Hall, and it is free of charge. For more information, visit clewshall.org.
Welcome back to the Butler Beat. The hot topic this show is the enrollment process at Butler University. Now that we have learned some details about last year's admissions process, we are left with questions about what will happen in the future in regards to enrollment plans. I am joined again by Vice President of Enrollment Tom Weed, who is here to help answer those intriguing questions. So, because Butler University has been exposed on such a large scale within the past 2 years, do you anticipate a larger application pool with each coming year?
We don't. We're actually anticipating that the application pool will shrink this year. And that's kind of counterintuitive, but the feel of the tournament last year was so much different than the tournament the year before. We've still seen significant visiting. We've still seen lots of students expressing interest, but we don't feel like there's that same feeling out there. So we're anticipating that the applications are actually going to fall from last year's peak, and then we'll start growing again from there.
I understand that your admissions counselors, they do a lot of traveling across the country, places like Texas, Kansas City, Tennessee, but are you planning on making your travel plans a little more extensive to cover more of the country since people from all across the U.S. know about Butler now?
Well, we're looking at it, but recruitment and travel is expensive. And we want to make sure that we treat your tuition dollars as carefully as we can and make sure they're as effective as they can be. I moved here from New York, and I know the New York market really well, but it would take a significant investment for us to be able to significantly break into that market, simply because there's so many choices there. The same is true with Southern California. So we're looking at that, we're considering different things, but we want to make sure we make some good decisions.
And lastly, because I know there have been plans in the works about physically expanding the university. As of now, are there any plans to ever increase the overall enrollment at Butler University, or are you trying to maintain to that 1,000 students per class so you can keep the student-faculty ratio?
Bree, you're above my pay grade. I don't know the answer to that, and I know that it's one of the questions that President Danko wants to look at, and I know that we have trustees and other people in the community who are interested in seeing, is 4,000 the size we want to be? I think that we could grow. I think that we could stay the same. For me, I'm part of the community. I want to put in place what the community thinks is best.
So as of now, you're going to just stick to keeping about 1,000 students per class?
That's the plan for right now.
And it's the 11-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio?
That's the plan for now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate all of the information.
My pleasure.
Well, it's that time again. Grab your calendars because Krista Miller is here to give you the details on what's happening around the Butler campus this weekend.
Thanks, Bree. Well, homecoming has officially kicked off with the announcement of this year's theme, I Love the 90s. The Ice Cream Social for homecoming will take place Tuesday, October 4th from 7 to 9 p.m. This gives you an opportunity to meet with your team and get some treats. The homecoming committee will be announcing the team rooms later this week. The third annual Pause for a Cause dog show will take place Saturday, October 8th. The dog show will begin at 2 p.m. on the HRC lawn. It's $10 to enter your dog, and the proceeds go toward the Southside Animal Shelter. You can register the day of the event, but if you want to pre-register or if you have any questions, you can contact Deanna Proimos at dproimos@butler.edu. And in sports, Butler football faces Campbell at Campbell University on Saturday the 8th at noon. The women's volleyball team will face Loyola the same day at 4 p.m. at home. Men's soccer will face UIC at home at 7 p.m. on Saturday. Then on Sunday, women's volleyball is at it again, and they take on Green Bay at home at 4 p.m.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of the Butler Beat. I'm Bree Seaver.
And I'm Krista Miller.
Stay classy, Butler.